Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Freshly Grounded, episode 52.
Someone made a comment the other day about we might need to change our jingle because it's not really the brand new podcast anymore.
What?
Think about it.
I like our jingle.
So do I, but it's a brand new podcast which is now over a year old.
Yeah, but we can just keep that.
It's fine. You know better than I.
We might change it maybe after 100. We haven't even done the first 100 episodes. This is still brand new. It's all relative, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah. Fair point.
Guys, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by 59 Cafe, Juice, Snack Place in Wellness Caf in St Albans, Hertfordshire. That's 59 St Albans, Hertfordshire, Stanhope Road. Get yourself some fresh coffee, some fresh juice, some fresh snacks, some healthy things. I got so many people who are asking me to who asked me to take them there because they want to see it. And so I owe a lot of people a journey to 59. But it's my favourite cafe, guys. And I'm not just saying that because the guy who owns it is sat next to me. Honestly, it's lovely. You get the coffee tastes amazing. The juice is fresh. I actually had a picture. I was looking through my pictures yesterday, and I found a picture of me at 59, and it was in the summer, and so the sun was like gleaming on my face, and like I got myself a fresh juice from there, and it reminded me of when like the summer. And I just thought, I can't wait for the summer to come back, and then like, not that I need to wait for the summer to go to 59, but it just last summer I was going 59 so much. I was banging nice cold juices, so I can't wait for that. Excuse me, Sam, you wait to go as well. No, fine, I'll do it. So 59, head over there and quote Freshly Grounded to the staff members and you get £1 off your order. Also brought to you by Izaha.com. That's IZAHA.com. Izaha.com is your one-stop shop for Arabic caps. Ramadan is coming up. You want to look good and have text that says salam on your head. Head over to Izaha.com. Get 20% off with code word Freshly Grounded. Lastly, brought to you by Flavor. That's FLAVR.co. Flavor.co. Your one-stop shop for branding, marketing, social media management, content creation, iPhone applications, website development. That's Flavor.co. FLAVR.co. Guys, this episode, we just have a little bit of a natter, don't we, Sam?
Catch up.
A little catch up. A little natter. A little chin wag. Yeah? And it's been nice. We had a nice little catch up. Nothing particular for me to mention. We just had a nice little chat, didn't we?
It's a little catch up.
A little chat, a little natter.
A little what?
A little chin wag.
Yeah.
Guys, without any further ado, please do enjoy episode 52 of Freshly Grounded. And welcome to Freshly Grounded, the brand new podcast by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Huh?
I said welcome to Freshly Grounded,
After that bit.
the brand new podcast
And after that bit?
by best friends Faisal and Sam.
Really?
Assalamu alaikum, Abdul Samad.
Wa alaikum assalam, Big Daddy Faze.
How are we?
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And yourself?
Yeah, alhamdulillah. We were just speaking off air about how it feels like we haven't spoken to each other in a long time.
Yes.
We haven't spoken to each other much this week, have we?
Nah, and also even last week because we had a guest. You and I didn't have a conversation.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like I haven't had a conversation with you for a while.
It's always nice after we've had a episode with a guest to have an episode with just ourselves.
Yeah, you appreciate it more.
Yeah.
But it's also very, very good to have a guest that actually has brings forward a lot of knowledge and interesting things to say.
Yeah, man. And
I'm sure the listeners and viewers just think, oh, great, there's a guest, so they're not rambling on about nothing. But Abdul Hakim, mashallah, blows it away every single time. And to be honest, you know what? All week, I've had the same thing playing in my head of something that he said.
What was that?
Every time I have my dinner and there's carbs in my dinner, I can always hear his voice saying, Habibi, why are you having rice so late? Yeah. Trust me, I can't. Literally, I'm just thinking about that. It's
Maybe
so
that's
true.
in your head because I cut that bit out for this.
You did as well, but it's just it's so true. Like every time, because I've had rice before, late in the evening.
Yeah.
Even on the Sunday night, so a few days afterwards, I was eating rice a bit too late. I think, in his head was just his voice was in my head just saying, Habibi, why are you eating rice so late?
Could it be possible that what he was saying, it was specific to a certain type of, if you have a certain type of goal? Because I've also heard people say that having carbs before bed is not a bad thing. So maybe it's dependent upon your goals.
From way back when I first looked into dieting like years ago, I was told strictly if you want to lose weight, stop eating carbs by like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. But you're saying if you want to lose weight.
If you want to lose weight, but that's if you want to lose weight. But then ultimately, I haven't got knowledge on. I haven't really looked at proper putting on weight. And also, if you are trying to put weight on, I'm not an expert on this, but surely there's probably better things that you can gain weight from rather than having that kind of those carbs. I think the point he was making is that the carbs, it turns into glucose and it's your body can't break it down. You're going to sleep with a stomach full of carbs. But I'm not going to speak on nutrition because I'm far from an expert. But generally, like what I've heard is don't eat carbs too late.
Yeah, same.
Even after 5 or 6 o'clock, or maybe someone even said 4 o'clock once.
I heard something once where no, it's not relevant.
Go on, you mentioned it. You can't.
I was going to say I heard once that I heard that 50 Cent doesn't eat carbs after 5 p.m.
It's good knowledge, man.
Yeah, be all interesting for this audience. Sorry,
what did you say about 50
it's just not 50. Well, it's not like he's anything that we should ever admire.
No,
I'm just saying that if I think it's a movie where we had to lose weight, and he was saying that he stopped eating carbs.
I mean, you say not to admire in the sense of that he is in dunya terms quite successful with certain things that he's done, and he is in good shape. So there's obviously you can definitely take aspects from everyone and be admired and inspired by certain. I don't think as Muslims we should only be inspired by Muslims. I think it is acceptable to be inspired by any levels of success. Obviously on here, but no, because we're thinking like it depends whether they've got what they've got in the hereafter is another thing. But talking dunya terms, there's Conor McGregor. Like if you look at his ethic, his work ethic, and his training ethic, and where he's come from to where he's got now, that's something to be admired because that's all down to hard work and like a massive amount of hard work. There's lots of people like a list that. We're not going to say we
Jeff
can't say
Bezos, the guy who founded Amazon. Yeah,
there's loads of like, and you don't think we definitely can't sit here and say they're not an inspiration because they're not on Deen.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But we wouldn't say follow. We definitely wouldn't say follow exactly what they do because what they do is a role model to us. But definitely, I definitely wouldn't lie and say I'm not inspired by. All general people from all over the world, different background, different religions, different cultures. Doesn't mean that I take them upon my role model and I follow their sunnah, but definitely can take inspiration from anywhere. That's the point of inspiration. You can take it from literally anywhere.
It's a very good point.
Obviously, we don't promote certain things on Freshly Grounded, so I appreciate where you're coming from.
Had a few comments on the video last week as well. People saying, "Oh, like you should have Abdul Hakim as a regular." Like he brings.
I've got a feeling you're going to kick me out of this, and he'll be the new Freshly Grounded host.
Oh, I wonder how it would be possible for me to kick you out of something that you own. It's not technically
sense, we haven't got a contract.
But technically, it's still 50-50.
You could kick me out and say, "Look, I don't need you this week. They've got the big man Abdul Hakim."
That wouldn't really that would assume that I have more power than you in this, which is not. You
could technically not buzz me up in your office. I could technically be down reception with no access.
I suppose
if you want to go down that way, I don't. I ask you not to.
Yeah, I don't think it wouldn't happen. I mean, I don't think it would happen. It would not happen.
Alhamdulillah, but definitely we should have him on more because I love everything he has to say is great. Allah bless him and increase him, man. He's a good guy, man.
Yeah, man. So I went away this week.
Where did you go?
No, I didn't go away, but I went away, to this retreat.
Oh
thing.
The weekend. How was that?
On the weekend. So obviously it was a long weekend. So Friday through to Monday, I was at this retreat, and it was amazing, man. So the retreat was.
It looked really nice.
It was like so many brothers.
Where was it?
It was in
Cuffley Camp or somewhere.
No, it was in some woods in Hertfordshire.
Yeah, what was it called?
Faisal's Wood.
I know them then. Yeah. Scout groups.
So it's like a scout camp.
Yeah. That's why I actually asked you, did you go to scout camp? I thought I didn't know you were even in the scouts. But then I see obviously there's a couple of faces there.
Yeah.
Gone.
So Onali was there and stuff, and it was good, man. It was just 4 days where you're focusing on you're doing all your prayers in Jama'ah, and on top of that you're doing activities and stuff here and there. But the main thing is that you're in classes and stuff, studying, trying to study Arabic and this.
So there was a lot of classes as well.
Yeah, and bonding with brothers. It was a lot of fun, man. It was being back to uni and high school, but in a halal way, because you're sharing dorms with everyone. You just crack a joke, you up to 2. Bro, the timing, the scheduling was mad. Bro, we'd be up till 2 o'clock in the morning, yeah, and then you got to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning for prayers, and then you're up for the rest of the day, basically.
Really?
And like on one of the days, we had a
Who set that? Was it a structure to it? Was there?
There was structure to it. On one of the days, we did have chance for, I think in Arabic it's called a qaylula, which is a siesta. So there's a nap between Dhuhr and Asr, which is sunnah. So that we did have that on one of the days.
Did everyone sleep?
Yeah, most people.
Yeah.
I definitely did. I was meant to sleep for about 45 minutes. I ended up sleeping for about 2.5 hours by accident. But I didn't miss any prayers. I just literally slept from Dhuhr to Asr. But then the rest of the days we didn't do that. So like the other days were hard. That day was okay because we got that nap, but the other days were really hard, man. Like you're doing a whole day of 2-3 hours sleep and you're exerting yourself mentally, exerting yourself physically, and you still haven't had much sleep. And so that the day it finished was Monday, and I left after Fajr. I got home at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I just knocked out, bro. And then my wife woke me up at, I think, I want to say 2:30 or 3:30 p.m. And had she not woken me up, I would have just stayed asleep. Yeah, I was in deep sleep, man. But I thought she woke me up, and I forced myself to wake up. I wouldn't sleep later. But yeah, man, the sleep was. But it was a lot of fun, man.
Did the sleep affect you being able to study?
No, because like you're like gassed off of like everyone being there and everyone's energy and this, that, the other, and
it looked great from what you put up on your Instagram.
Yeah, well, I decided to like vlog it and stuff.
Did you vlog it? Yeah.
Yeah, man. The vlog's really good. Yeah, check the vlogs out, man.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, the vlog's really good. I decided to vlog it and stuff because I just thought, well, the real thing is, if you're being real, when you're married, you have to. I'm not saying that I'm definitely not the perfect example of someone who gives their rights to everyone equally and all this kind of stuff. I'd like to think that I'm trying, but when you're married, it's very hard to. You're working all day. You wake up in the morning, you go to work, and you work until 5 p.m. And when I wasn't married, I remember I could come home and I just carry on working, but there's no problem. Oh, that looks sick at the back. Yeah, long bird looks sick. As you know, bro, when you're single, like you can come home and you don't answer to no one. Mm-hmm. Not that you answer to someone when you're married, but you do have rights that Allah. You have rights that Allah has bestowed upon a person. You have to give everyone their rights, bro, to the point where even you have to give the masjid its rights, you know? Like, I remember listening to a talk, I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but as is the nature of podcasting, I remember listening to a talk where it said that, the 2 rak'ah you pray when you go to the masjid, like 2 rak'ah of salam, bro. Obviously, by this point, I already knew of these 2 rak'ah that you pray when you enter a masjid, but I had never heard it put in this way. And what the speaker had said is he had said, this is the right that the masjid has over you.
Really?
And I was like, raw, like even a masjid has rights over me. A masjid is even a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have to think about the rights that people and things have over us. Anyway, so back to what I'm saying is you can go home and carry on working because you don't have anything that you necessarily have to do. But once you're married, bro, like you can't be at work all day, come home at 6-7 p.m. and then bang out work as well. It's not fair. You have to give rights to your wife, etc. And so I thought, while these 4 days, while I'm away from my wife, away from my family, I don't owe no one nothing in it. So the only thing I'm losing, I suppose I owe my body its rights, but I knew it was only 4 days. So I thought the only thing I'm losing by staying up an extra 2 hours is my sleep, and I'm okay with that. So what I would do is because I wanted to get the content out, I want to take advantage of the opportunity.
You're editing there.
So what I'll do is I'd film all day, everything that was happening, do all the classes, all the activities, etc. And then from about midnight till about 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd be editing. And then I'd sleep about 2 o'clock in the morning, and we'd have to wake up at 4.
Really?
So yeah, obviously, I suppose I'm still not giving everything its rights because my body, I suppose, does stuff. But in the grand scheme of things, it was a 4-day thing, and I'd like to think that I could handle it. And yeah, man, so I was editing every day, and it was, bro, I'm so grateful I did, because I was banging out vlogs every day. My subscribers loved the content. I loved creating it. The content was like proper jokes, like all the brothers were there, everyone cracking jokes. It was sick, man. Yeah, so
I have to check that out. I didn't realize you'd put them up.
Yeah.
How do we? I mean, I'm not. I use YouTube, but generally, when people subscribe, I know this might sound like a stupid question, but do you get a notification that someone's uploaded a video and things like that if you're subscribed to them?
People who subscribe get notifications if they have notifications turned on.
Otherwise, you just kind of find it by chance by like just searching.
Yeah, there's different ways.
Do you follow people on YouTube, in a sense?
Yeah, I do, but I don't. I follow stuff like I don't. Yeah, I do. I don't follow a lot of people. A lot of the things that I follow are, for example, like Merciful Servant and stuff.
Yeah. So do you get like a notification on your YouTube that they've uploaded a new video and things like that?
I don't have notifications turned on for most people. No. So for me, you have like on your YouTube app, you have a section of the app which is my subscriptions.
Yeah.
And so it shows all the uploads of the people that you subscribe to.
Right. And you can see when they put a new video up.
Yeah,
so, okay, fine.
That's how it works.
It's strange. I've used YouTube since I can remember, but I've never really had an account and used it properly. I think a lot of people do that.
Yeah, until I actually was started uploading videos onto YouTube, I had never either.
Do you think is there a big culture in people? Obviously, I know I go on Freshly Grounded videos and see that people write comments. Is it a big culture of people actually having a conversation and talking on comments and things like that?
Yeah, massive, man, massive.
Yeah.
And I didn't know of it either because I never comment on things and stuff. That's just not me. Not because I think I'm better than it, but it's just not what I do.
Yeah.
And but people do that. People do that.
Obviously, there's like and dislike and
dislike,
share.
There's
a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate I see on YouTube. I see more than probably any other social platform.
Bro, like we said last week, bro, like hate exists so much, and you see it prevalent most on stuff like YouTube, and you realize, bro, like, fam, what it is, I believe, is that people don't have the confidence to do what a person has gone out there. I'm not talking about myself here. I'm talking about other people. Like, this person has gone out and had the confidence or taken a risk to put their to perform in front of a camera or do something that other people it could be up to scrutiny, it could be embarrassing, it could be like there's many things, but they thought, you know what, I'm going to chase this dream, or I'm going to spread my message, or I'm going to do something that most people don't do. I'm going to take this risk. And I feel like the haters are the people who don't have the balls basically to go and do it themselves. And so it's very easy to scrutinize someone, bro, but when you're on that foot, you'd hate to be scrutinized. And I think the hate on YouTube is one of the things that I struggled with a lot, bro, when I first started. I'm not saying it won't, I'm not saying it doesn't affect me now. It does to an extent, but not as much as it did originally. But bro, I know of a YouTuber has like 7 million subscribers, one of the biggest YouTubers in the UK, and he made a video saying that even to this day he reads comments and the hate comments really get to him. 7 million subscribers.
Naturally, it would. If you're reading comments and people are talking about you, however big you are, you do kind of digest comments, don't you?
Yeah, it's awful, bro. Like there's obviously sometimes criticism is required, but there's also methods in which it could be given. Or do you know what? Sometimes people assume that you don't know certain things, and also there's criticism, but then there's like hate, and you can tell the difference because people will just say something that's completely irrelevant. It's not worth saying, or it will just be something that's completely untrue. You know what I mean? Oh, like, you know the kind.
But there's ways of putting things, isn't there, on social media, and you can tell the difference. Like someone who genuinely cares. Say someone. Let's talk Islamically. Someone does something which isn't halal or is questionable or whatever. People might either privately message or write something with a bit of wisdom and softness and kindness, but then you get other people who are just judgmental and rude and very vicious.
I've had a lot of nice messages like that, like where people have thought something that I've done is wrong and have sent me to like, I got one.
That's hikmah, isn't it? That's using like kindness and wisdom, which is how we should advise each other. So if someone's doing something that isn't right, it's definitely we need to advise, but it's a way of doing it. And people with no knowledge just jumping on social media platforms and saying this, that, and the other. I often see it, not on my own page, but just through like other people's pages. You see people like attack people for this, that, and the other, and just like with just harshness. It's not the correct way.
I remember this is probably the nicest one I've received, and it actually was nice enough for me to it prompted a reply out of me. And if anybody knows me, I pretty much set myself a rule to like not reply to private messages, not because I'm better than it, but because I don't want to open the gates of like.
You do one, then you do it all the time. And
I want to be fair and stuff like that. Anyway, this message was sent to me, and it was such a nice message, and it said. This was back when I had got those content that I was like that I've like removed now all of it, and it was like a long message. It said, "Look, as far as I'm aware, lying is not permissible even when joking." And they gave the relevant dalil, and then they said to me, what they said to me, bro, which I think was really nice. Is they said, perhaps you have received like knowledge or ruling from a person of knowledge or student knowledge that I'm not aware of. So ignore this message if that's what is the case. I just thought like I'd bring it up. I thought it was really nice, man, because it's assuming the best of me. It's having husn adhan saying, look, this is what I know. So like, if this is any news to you, feel free to take this news. But I'm sure you would have done your research, and if you have, then just ignore it. And I replied and I said, like, Jazakallah for your message, really nice of you to say that. I have had this on my mind for a while. I have asked this teacher said that like this is okay because of this. And then later that teacher updated me with had like done a bit more research on it and realised that what they had originally told me was not necessarily correct. But yeah, my point is that it was a very nice message.
So when you were then told by your teacher,
it wasn't actually my teacher; it was a student of that teacher.
Yeah,
who said that teacher said it. So it was a bit of a change.
And then you made your changes that you had to make.
Yeah.
Deleting content.
Which
obviously we're discussing you having it in your almost role playing and telling like a lie, not like a vicious lie, but like part of a role play. Yeah, like just for people who maybe don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, so essentially, I'm sure there's a lot of fiqh that goes into it, so it's probably not best to discuss the detail. But essentially, you
shouldn't lie even if it's
you shouldn't lie even if it's a joke.
Yeah.
But like I say,
some of your videos had like jokes that
were just not true.
Yeah, but it's all part. But you're not spreading vicious lies about anyone. It was just a part of your role play, wasn't it?
Yeah. And like I said, there could be like there could be times where it's like acceptable stuff. I'm not sure. We'd have to like a person of knowledge obviously knows better than us. But yeah, that's not the point of the hater anyway. I said, like, just to round it up, the point was of the
haters. Yeah.
And like a nice message that I had received. So,
but there's a lot of haters, isn't there? And people often say, if you're not getting hate, you're not doing enough.
It's sad that that's the case, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the reality on all aspects of life. If someone starts doing well, and it's like that jealousy feels in your heart, and they just take it out. That's why you got to be very careful of that hasad and evil eye. Even people that closest people to you, when people start doing well around you, and you're not genuinely like happy for someone, because it's in their qadar ultimately, and there's nothing you can ever do to change it. So if someone's doing well, Allahumma barik.
I mean, it was a brother gave me some advice recently to all of us guys in the office, and he said, until you've like completed something, don't necessarily tell people if you don't need to tell them.
I think even when you're even a business idea or anything to do with business, you shouldn't announce it until it's done, because
yeah, exactly. You should just keep your stuff to yourself, really, innit?
Yeah, generally, but then. Other terms, if you're depends. Yeah, you should. Ideally, keep things to yourself. But at the same time, people out there doing things that you like. For instance,
no, I mean if I'm planning something, if you're planning something, like if I'm planning to do something, I don't need to tell a lot of people. I'd rather maybe when it's more solidified, then tell people.
But then if you're building something and you're building, like, for instance, I'm going to take your brother as an example. I love watching your brother's feed because. Your brother is building something huge, and it hasn't quite whatever, I'm not talking about something in particular, but the reason his content is so captivating, because you can see like he's on a journey somewhere, and the whole point of it is that you can see he's nowhere near where he wants to be, but you can see him like taking his footsteps towards that. But then what he's working towards isn't there yet, but it's captivating because you're watching the journey.
Yeah.
So, and it's something like when we've done salons, we've done like countdowns and like do little sneak peeks and that, because obviously that's a little bit more solidified, but at the same time it's not finished, but it's very captivating for someone to watch someone's journey. And we've noticed that when we've got new people who come and join us, we introduce them on social media as a brand new person and like follow the journey and watch the progress, because people love watching people, well, not everyone, but a lot of people like watching people's journeys and watching them go through certain things and experience things and obviously ultimately grow. It's quite a captivating subject, isn't it?
It's true. Storytelling in itself is like such a captivating thing, like seeing the story of someone grow from a certain aspect to like something else. Because
quite often we see these people of success, what we determine as success, but we don't see like
the backstory.
And I think that is the most fascinating thing, because I want to use Conor McGregor as an example again. Like, Conor McGregor is a multimillionaire now. He's with what he's done. He's at the peak of his success financially and dunya terms, of course, yeah. But what he's had to do to get where he is now, people don't see all that effort, that that all those early mornings, all that training he's done, everything that he's done. People often forget the backstory. And
he used to be on Job Seekers, didn't he?
Yeah, used to be like, he's from somewhere quite rough in Dublin, and didn't have a lot, and his missus obviously stood by him the whole time, and he was didn't have a lot, and now he's dunya wise, he's got a lot. He's done very, very well. But you haven't seen him, like, he didn't do a vlog from his day one of started training in UFC to where he is now. But you forget actually how much hard work has gone into who he is, and that goes with anyone. Myself, like, for instance, like Josh, my business partner. He's now on stage all over the world teaching hairdressing, but there's no one has seen him the first time when he first started learning how to cut hair 11, 12 years ago, and all the backlog and how long it takes to get to where. Do you know what I mean? It goes for everyone. It goes. People forget all the hard work behind the scenes before someone becomes that successful person. All that training that you have to do, all that education that you have to acquire, that knowledge you have to gain, all that kind of stuff. You don't see that. The point I'm making is when you can kind of tap into someone's journey, it's so much more captivating, because you can see them I don't like the expression start from the bottom and going to the top, all that kind of stuff, but watching someone grow is very interesting. You look brain dead.
No, what you're saying makes sense. I was just contemplating what you're saying, because it's true. And it goes back to the idea of storytelling. Like, people like to see people's journeys, which is why people like movies so much, why people like documentaries and stuff, because you see like the transition in someone's life, and seeing real life is like. Seeing real life is very, very inspiring.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is inspiring. Yeah. Really inspiring. Have you gone? Have you seen the film The Founder?
Is that the one about the McDonald's?
Yeah.
So in that movie, I've seen bits of it.
Why bits? How have you seen just bits of it?
Because I've seen snippets of it.
I've
seen clips.
Clips.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing. Just like a little bit at the start, a little bit at the middle, a little bit at the end, or just you've seen one short clip. Just
so basically, the movie,
yeah.
It shows like the guy who started McDonald's as being quite a.
Yeah, but he didn't start McDonald's. That guy.
No, it's not started, but who's took it over.
Yeah.
As being a really
basically
rude person.
Rude.
Somewhat.
Yeah. The thing is, it's based on a true story. So however the film is, whether the whole thing's
that's true.
truth,
that's true. His personality might be different and stuff. Yeah.
But you get the idea of it. Do you know what the idea is? The two brothers who started this fantastic business with a beautiful, perfect system, which was a revolution and all this kind of stuff. And they were quite innocently just doing well in one, and quite almost content with doing well in one place. And then obviously someone cottoned on how great it was and basically sold it out.
What was he originally selling, that guy? Refrigerators?
Yeah.
No,
he was selling milkshake blender.
Oh yeah, milkshake blender.
And then the McDonald's. This is obviously, whether this is the truth or not. This is the film. The one of the brothers who started McDonald's contacted him for like 5 milkshake makers or whatever, and he thought he had never done that kind of business, like 5 at one time for one place. He said it made no sense, so he called.
Well, it could have been even more than that, wasn't it?
It started at 5, and it turned to 8. But this was only operating out of one store, yeah. So he called up saying, "I think there's been a problem with your order, because what kind of them times there, it wasn't that fast food and that kind of milkshake thing. There would be no need for one place to have that many. Yeah. So he calls up saying there must be a problem with your order, and he was like, "Yeah, you're right." And then he was like, "Okay, yeah, I thought there would be." He goes, "Actually, we need 8 rather than 5."
Yeah, man.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, you're right.
So then he goes down there and basically sees this like.
And he grabs a burger himself.
He grabs a burger, one of the best burgers he's ever had. But he just sees the system and the amount of food they're turning out. And we're so used to seeing fast food places now. Everywhere we go, there's places you go and there's a system and fast food and people are turning out fast food. But these times it's at the very, very beginning. And he was just like gobsmacked by it. And he's a somewhat entrepreneur, Ray Kroc. At these times, he's obviously tried this, that, and the other different ways to make money.
He's a very wheeler dealer guy.
He's a wheeler dealer, and he basically just sees the vision. And it's interesting. I find it very interesting because a lot of people have told me to watch it. Glenn has been at me to watch it for so long, and I actually thought it was a documentary. So when he kept on talking about it, I was kind of looking out on Netflix for a documentary about the McDonald's, how it all started, and but it's actually a film, and there's it's good actors. So I actually watched it twice to really absorb it. The first time I did it, I was doing other bits and pieces at the same time, so I couldn't really absorb it. I watched it again. I wouldn't say it's inspiring, but it's interesting. It's like you see the two brothers, one of them who's almost content with what they've got, which is just a very...
Oh, yeah, and the other one's like, nah.
The other one's like a bit more on it. And then Ray Kroc comes in, obviously he just sees dollar signs, and he just takes the whole thing over, really. And just like, but you see him, like, he presents this like opportunity to everyone and anyone about franchising McDonald's. It's interesting, man.
Shall I tell you what I watched the other day?
What?
That I would recommend to you to watch. Did you watch a few years ago? I think it was about 5 years ago. Trevor McDonald did a documentary about Death Row.
Death Row? I didn't see it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, and now, so I watched it at that time, and now he just released a documentary where he's gone back to that same prison to catch up on those inmates. And bro, it's so interesting, man. Like,
I love that show.
Yeah, did you watch that?
Yeah, I watched the first one.
We haven't watched the second one.
I haven't watched the second one yet.
So the second one's sick, yeah. Basically, there's this guy in there who's on death row, yeah, and he's like, bro, it's like just looking at shit. I think, bro, so he's committed he's a serial killer. He's like some old man who's got like some like nasty moustache and stuff, yeah. And he's like,
why is it a nasty moustache?
Because it's like going over here and like uneven.
Uneven, right.
Yeah, and so basically, he's arrested. He's on death row for 3 murders, yeah, because he's a serial killer. But he's saying, like they said to Trevor McDonald when he interviewed him, he was like, "Oh, so is that how many people you've actually killed?" He was like laughing. He was like, "Nah, like that's probably like a tenth. They probably found like a tenth of the bodies that I've actually killed. Like, he's like." And Trevor McDonald was like, "What? So you just like you're calm with killing people?" Obviously, they didn't use this language, and he's like, "Brother, I could kill someone and just go out for dinner after. Like, it's minor." But bro, you know when you like, we've been told things in the Quran, and we know of like what our fitrah is, all this kind of stuff. Yeah, you look at these man, you think you're such a liar, bro. Like
liar.
Yeah, like, but he's just trying to act cool, and like, oh yeah, kill someone and like go for dinner, fam. Your fitrah is not created to kill people. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't act like you're not shook to, like, because, bro, then they said to him, like, oh, how do you feel about being on death row? He's like, you know, like, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, he's just trying to call, like, yeah, they're going to take me to kill me. I don't care, kind of thing. And then at the end, he said something like, you know, maybe on the actual day, I might not want to go through with it, but,
yeah.
And then, bro, that little bit of him saying, fam, that shows, yeah, I know, yeah, that you don't want to be killed because
facade, basically.
It's a facade, bro. He's like, yeah, you know. And even when Trevor McDonald was like, oh, so are you going to tell the police where the rest of the bodies are? He's like, no. Why should I tell him? And then outside I think to myself, do you know what? He's already on death row. He knows he can't get out of here. He's killed 3 people, yeah. So now to act more hard, he might as well say that he's killed enough other people because it's not like it's gonna. It's not like he can reduce his sentence now. So now he's probably thinking to himself, oh, I might as well. So I wouldn't even be surprised if he hasn't killed anyone else. He's just such a, like, bruv, like the most cleanest way to say it is a loser. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was, because me and my wife watched this together, I was like, fam, like, I do not rate, like, not that anyone would rate him, but like the way he was speaking is as if he should be rated. Like, you know, like, probably trying to act cool about the fact that he's a serial killer. And it's like, bro, there's nothing cool about it. And because we're Muslim and because we've read, like, we've been told things in the Quran and the Sunnah, yeah, we know your fitrah ain't created to be like killing and to be like calm with it and like to be happy with like being a killer. So yeah, you can put on this facade about like, yeah, I don't care, but
do you not think that people, obviously the fitrah is not to do that, but do you not think there is so many people in the world that do happily just kill people without a second thought? I don't think it's always based on a facade. I definitely think that people can take lives without having a second thought. Yeah, well,
that is something that did come into my head because after that, I had also, because when I was speaking to my wife about this after, and I was saying that, I was thinking to myself that I'm sure, because evil people and shayateen could come in the form of jinn and humans, innit?
Yeah.
So it could just be that he is one of those evil. Well, he's obviously evil, but it could be one of those things where he's just like an evil human in it. Because I know evil humans do exist.
Most definitely.
So obviously, like that is an aspect as well. But when you're just looking at him, you just think to yourself like
this particular guy.
You just think like, it's like you're putting on an act.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. I have to watch it.
Yeah, man, it's some creepy old guy. Man. And there's this other guy in there who he murdered a woman and her like 5-year-old daughter. He slit their throats.
Really?
Yeah, man.
What?
Yeah. Madness, bro. You should watch that documentary, bro.
How would I find that documentary?
BBC iPlayer. It's called
Yeah.
Trevor McDonald
Death Row
or something. Yeah. Yeah, man. I love watching stuff like that, man. Like, I'm probably in for like the prison documentaries, police documentaries.
Yeah.
I just find
You studied criminology, didn't you?
Yeah, man. I find that stuff so fascinating, man. And I think a lot of people do. That's why there's so many documentaries about prison. There's so many.
Yeah.
I remember there's one documentary about Reggie Yates who went to prison on BBC iPlayer, and there was this kid who went to Penn, and like he did the most like. He just got caught for something. I think he could have even been caught for like having some weed on him. Some like, not that I'm like making that like okay, I'm saying, but he did all, from what I remember, he did do something that was a bit like, he got caught for doing something that like so many people do when they're young, and he just got caught kind of thing, and like he just probably was having like a stupid phase or whatever, and now he's like and now he's actually being arrested for it and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt really sorry for him because it was his first day in prison. It was his first day in prison.
America or UK?
In America. And Reggie Yates was like being treated as a prisoner, so he went into the prison with cameras. Obviously, you're not ever gonna, if you're a presenter, you're not gonna fully be treated as a prisoner, but whatever. And he interviewed this guy, bruv, and this kid is just crying. He's like, I'm not going to be here. Like, I don't know. I feel sorry for him, man. He was not built for Penn, bro. Not that anyone. I'm not saying that. Anyone, you don't know in it because you've never been, but huge. I felt sorry for this kid in it, and Reggie Yates was saying to him, bro, you need to just. I know it's peak, but if you act like this, you're gonna get eaten alive, man. Just fight those tears, put them tears away. Come on, otherwise you're gonna get eaten alive out here. You're in prison, so.
Yeah, it's true. Easy for him to say. He's about to roll out and go.
Yeah, he could just roll out. Yeah, but what he was saying, I suppose, but yeah, man. I actually didn't finish watching the documentary because I felt so sorry for that guy.
Really?
Yeah, I have a soft heart, man. I felt so sorry. He's crying, but I was like, oh man.
The justice system is a bit of is an interesting one anyway, man. There's people go to prison for different things, different lengths of time. Without going too into it, there's just people end up people do horrible, inhumane things and will go to prison for less time than someone doing something which is, slightly less inhumane. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Without going to naming different criminal activities, but the justice system is a strange thing, man.
I don't think you can ever be perfect though, because can you imagine? Let's say, for example, in the UK, I don't know how many people are in the UK. Red, how many people are in the UK? Can you Google it? How many people in the UK? I know in London alone there's 7 million.
60 to 70 million.
60, 70 million?
Yeah, I think in the UK maybe...
In London, did you say 60, 70 million?
Yeah, 60 to 70 million.
No, I think in London it's like 7 million people. Bro.
Sorry, not London, England.
Just Google it quick.
Sure.
But I think regardless, yeah. Hold on, I'll find it now.
UK altogether is 65 million.
65 million.
Yeah, so imagine 65 million people, bro. You have to figure out a way of having rules that you can generalize amongst 65 million people. It's going to be hard, bro. There's going not that I'm justifying the justice system, but I'm saying like it's that. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I think people, some drug charges that people go to prison for is like less than someone who's committed rape and been convicted of rape. Like, and someone selling cannabis, not saying I'm not going to go into what's right and what's wrong. Ultimately, it's wrong. But people can get in a fight on a Saturday night. Innocent, everyday working average Joe, 9 to 5er, go out, maybe get intoxicated, have a fight, which he not part of his personality whatsoever, end up going to prison, and then you get someone committing a rape and getting convicted of it, going to prison for less time, things like that. And there's loads of examples without going too into it. It's just like you have to. I think like even my man who was saying crying and that, you have to really look at the person, the character, and have character statements and really go into each. And it's easier said than done. But really go into the actual character and the person before first time offence for something small and they're going to prison. That has an effect on the rest of their life. But it's much easier said than done, and I agree, controlling it. But there's so much injustice, man, and people going to prison for things they haven't done and not getting bail and all this stuff, and then while they're in prison, then being released because the evidence has been found that they're not even guilty, and these people have been treated like animals. And yeah, loads of, I'm sure people people know some of the injustice that goes on with all that.
Do you remember that documentary that we were discussing like months ago? That that one of that guy who that Netflix documentary, bro. The guy who like
Making a murderer.
making a murderer. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but I didn't. I've only started it. I've never really watched the whole thing.
Oh, so you don't know what happens at the end and
Nah.
stuff? Oh, okay, no problem. About
Nah.
Yeah.
But going back to documentaries, remember when we talked about the Louis Theroux, the addiction one, when my man's living in the woods? Did you ever watch that?
I never watched that.
Because you were talking about a facade with the guy with the moustache, yeah?
Yeah.
My man obviously has been interviewed so many times. He got into heroin abuse after he had a car accident and hurt himself, and from there he started taking these painkillers, and from painkillers he ended up falling into the trap of heroin and injecting heroin, yeah? But the whole time in this documentary he's basically saying how amazing his lifestyle is. He lives in the woods.
I remember you telling me.
Constantly high. And every time, obviously, they're interviewing, he's high and he's obviously just like injected heroin or whatever. And then you catch him maybe not high and he's talking on the level, and you kind of like the realness comes out. And and when Louis Theroux's like, are you really happy with like what the situation is? And you can kind of see that realistically the whole time it's a facade. He's saying how blessed this is how he wants his life to be, and it kind of dawns on him that actually he's lost everything and everyone around him, and he's addicted to heroin and lives in the woods. But it's like getting lost in a facade and getting like almost tricking yourself into this is where I want to be, this is who I am, but realistically you don't want to be there. It's a facade. You're lost.
Come back to the Quran and the Sunnah, innit? It's the only way to
Ultimately,
find
yeah.
true happiness.
It really is, bro.
It really is.
It really
Even
is,
like
man.
because then what's mad is that like, and I mean in a good way, is that like no, obviously things do affect us because we're human, yeah. But generally, when you really, and I'm not saying I'm upon this because we're all sinners, but when you try your best to like be upon Quran and Sunnah, yeah, the things that in the external world affect you less. Sometimes you might be in a financial situation where it could drive you to suicide, like that people. It could drive you to like really getting into depression. But because of you've set your priorities straight, and money is no longer you're not a slave to money anymore. Even though your situation is peak and you need to figure it out, it won't affect you to the point where perhaps you might harm yourself because your morals are aligned because of your faith. Sah?
Yeah, agreed. I think there is still a massive amount of people in the Muslim community that do suffer from serious depression and ending up with suicide, etc. I think it's
No, of course, but what I'm saying is that don't you think that when you are trying your best to follow and like, you're doing your 5 prayers a day and
Yeah.
like generally in the ideal world, what like if we were to follow our religion properly, what it would do is it would
If you do it
remove
properly,
our love for exterior
100%,
stuff,
100%.
right?
If you do it properly,
Of course.
Now,
And that's the hard thing.
the hard
for
thing
all
is
of us.
actually implementing Quran and Sunnah correctly into your lifestyle, because that's no, I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy. Alhamdulillah, it's there for us to study,
Yeah.
and Allah's made it easy if you're upon guidance. If you want to study your religion, which obviously we all should be making massive intention as a priority, because the more you study, the more you learn, the more knowledge you implement, the more the actions you can implement in your lifestyle, and generally your life will get better. But it's saying it, and then there's doing it, and if you do implement it correctly, you'll be the happiest person in the world. Sah? Because if you're upon deen correctly and your heart is soft for Islam, bruv, like nothing really, like when you're that close to Allah, man, nothing can really like have a detrimental effect on you. I've seen brothers who,
Alhamdulillah.
I've seen brothers who have lost babies and children and this, that and the other, but their relationship with Allah is so close that they're coming to me saying, look, alhamdulillah, that child is going to be waiting for it on the day of judgment, making sure that I go to paradise with it, inshallah, sort of things like that. But then you get someone who isn't necessarily so practicing, or someone who is a disbeliever, losing a loved one, losing a baby is obviously it is traumatic and incredibly sad, even if you're Muslim, non-Muslim, whatever you are. But when you have an attachment to the hereafter, and ultimately you have to remember that this ground that we're on now is not forever, and this is just testing ground. When you can really get your heart aligned with that, everything becomes easier. When you receive a huge financial loss, if your heart is attached to Allah and you have trust in Him, these things become easier. But if you don't, and your heart gets too soft for dunya, that's when we have issues. Do you know what I mean? And we all have these issues. It's remembrance. It's taqwa, isn't it?
Yeah, remembrance. Yeah, subhanallah. How's your diet been?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, my diet's been fine. Other than I've had rice a few times in the evening.
No, but like sugar and stuff. You've been good with that.
I had a cream egg the other day, and that's the first bit of chocolate I've had for a long time. Didn't enjoy it whatsoever.
I've never liked cream eggs.
Nah,
I had one yesterday.
Did you like it?
I was off chocolate for about, I don't know how long it's been, but I had one yesterday and I didn't enjoy it.
I didn't enjoy it, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I had a nap on Sunday afternoon. Woke up from a nap. I don't know if you've ever experienced it when you wake up from a nap and your body is craving like sugar and kind of like not good food. The last thing you want is almost like something healthy. And the first thing I did is actually called a pizza. I got a pizza.
I had pizza yesterday.
I've had pizza like through the last. I've been eating clean for the last few months, or whatever. But generally, if I go out for a pizza, I get the pizza with the hole in the middle. It has a salad in the middle, so it's like almost like a healthier version. Obviously, I know it's. Have you ever had that?
Never seen that.
One of my favorite pizza restaurants. I'm not going to say it because they haven't done sponsorship with us. Has a really nice pizza that has a big hole in the middle. So you basically get a hole in the middle with a salad in the middle.
No way.
Yeah, I know. Nice. I choose that. Because obviously it's
nice little counterbalance.
Of course, much less calories. And obviously, yeah. So that's generally what I get. But this, I called up a pizza chain. I had stuffed crust, etc. As I was eating it, I was like, "This is just rubbish. There's no point in this." I was just feeding my desires of having that kind of like.
Sometimes you do that, don't you?
Yeah, but that was the same day I had the cream egg, and it was a reminder that afterwards, like how I felt, it was not even worth it, man.
Speaking of cream eggs, guess what I saw the other day? I'm not going to mention the company because I'm sure it's like it wasn't meant to be this peak and stuff, and I don't want to out someone. But I was like on Instagram and I saw this company. To be honest, I'm not going to say the company because I literally don't even remember what company it is. I have no idea. But I saw a company who was promoting an Umrah package, and on the poster it said Easter special.
Really?
Deal for Umrah, and I said to Nate, I was like, is it me or does this baffle you? Like, well, an Easter deal.
Would you not say that in the sense that it is an Easter holidays we're currently in now? We do live in England, and if you look at the break that the kids are on now, it is called Easter, the Easter break. So
I don't know, I find that weird. Maybe you're right.
But people who've got kids, people who have worked at this time of year, they have time off. Like they would associate it with Easter. Whether you celebrate Easter or not is another thing, but. This period we're in now, the kids are on Easter break. So totally,
wouldn't you like if someone was if you
saw Christmas Umrah, that would be different.
Why would that be different though? Because Easter is like trying to celebrate the like.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it's weird.
I agree with you.
I'm not saying I just found it really like, weird to look at. I was like, huh? Like,
but that would probably catch some people's attention in the sense that maybe families they know their kids are going to be off and.
No, it was just it wasn't even a deal like to go during the Easter time. It was just like at that on that long weekend, which it was known as the Easter break.
Yeah,
they released a deal I think called the Easter like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Yeah.
I would personally.
It is ultimately like the 25th of December. They're releasing a Hajj package, a Christmas Hajj package.
Yeah, it'd be like writing Christmas offer for Hajj.
Yeah, it's like a contradiction in Tawheed.
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, yeah,
but then I'm not saying it's as deep as that, but
yeah, I don't know. I just find it.
But we don't associate.
Yeah, I suppose it was meant to be. It's obviously what you're saying. Like it was meant to just be like, look, it's just the Easter break. Which even us, like, I'm sure when we like talking about something, like if you're like, someone says, what are you doing on the Easter break? You don't mean like, what are you doing on like the celebration? Like you just mean like,
yeah,
your 4 days off.
What are you doing
on your 4 days off? By the way, what did you do? Did you work during your 4 days off? Did you have 4 days off?
There's no 4 days off. No, of course not. No. I don't do them things there. It was normal business. Yeah.
I was away on that thing.
What did I do? Normal, man.
You were at work. You been cutting hair? Bit here and there?
I've been cutting hair, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Going to Edinburgh next week.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, you're not going to be here next week.
Not going to be here next week.
So we have 3 options. We have 2 options. We're either going to do an episode next week, but with like a guest or like a co-host, but you won't be here, or we'll miss an episode completely. I'm going to try the former because I don't like missing episodes.
We're at a point now we can't miss episodes. There's too much demand, my brother.
Yeah, it's true. We'll figure it out, inshallah. We'll figure it out. But yeah. Do you feel I'm like slowly rebuilding my energy levels because after this retreat, because you're spending so many time in like confined areas, so many people, I became quite ill.
Did you?
Yeah, and so I'm like not ill anymore, alhamdulillah, but I'm like just starting to get my energy levels back.
That's good.
Which is probably why you said something earlier that related to that. But I can't remember what you said.
What did I say?
I don't know. You said something to do with like. You said I look like I'm spacing out or something. Something along the lines.
I didn't say you were spacing out. I've never used that expression in my life.
You said something along the lines of that.
Distant.
Maybe. But yeah. You know when you spend so much time in a confined, like when I used to work at Apple, bro, I used to get so ill all the time because the store that we worked at was the one where all the tourists came to.
Yeah.
So with people's like infections coming from all different countries and stuff, like right to us, fam, I used to be ill all the time.
I don't like that.
And I thought that would be good for me in the sense that it would build my immune system. But look at me, anytime I'm around someone who's ill, I'm locked off. You got a good immune system, haven't you? I don't ever see you ill.
Nah.
Mashallah.
Till recently.
Oh, you were recently?
Suffered recently a little bit of, yeah. Yeah, but ultimately, alhamdulillah, yeah. Generally not. A few times recently, few little things just bring me down, but in the sense of health and energy. Just makes you appreciate when you're feeling good and you're training and you're eating well, that feeling like nothing, you can't compare that feeling, that health is well feeling. You know, when your health is good, you've got energy, you feel like you can just do anything, you need to go and do something, go and do it. When that gets taken away from you, you really appreciate those times when you've got that drive and that energy. Sah. Been in the gym?
Nah, man. So my gym's been slacking. So I was meant to like get back onto it like literally the day I got back from the retreat, but I was not well, and then the next day I still wasn't well enough to go, and then yesterday I was like, look, I'm feeling okay enough to go, and then there was police on the A road where I go home, and so like my journey home got so long that I would have missed Maghrib if I went to the gym. Like I wouldn't have. So but then I also had something planned for the later, so I couldn't basically go to the gym, and today I have to go to my sister's, so I'm not able to go. So I'm slacking a lot, man.
When you next plan going?
Tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, what about you? Because you was going hard.
It was going hard, man, and then a few things came up that kind of took me away from it.
They always do, Samuel.
Yeah. Huh?
They always do.
Yeah, inshallah tonight, man.
Really?
That's the plan, yeah. Dee's been away. Dee just got back, and he hasn't trained like this. He went away for a month, yeah.
Really? Did he go to India?
He went to India for a month. Dee is the manager of 59, for those who don't know. He is in very good shape, mashallah. He's in amazing shape, and he takes gym very seriously, takes diet very seriously. But from being away, he didn't get to train much, and his diet was a little bit off for him. And he's been so busy since he's been back. He's not been able to train either. Really? He's like I don't need him to go with him, but it's great training with him. Yeah, you have to train with someone, man. Yeah, I'm sure. Since I started training by myself, that's when my downhill slope started, man. It's hard. Like if you have a session by yourself, it's okay. If you have a session with someone else, especially with someone else who knows what they're doing, it's like you feel like you've really ticked the box of going to the gym. Yeah, and sometimes you can push harder and stuff. Yeah, of course. Sometimes when you go by yourself, you feel like, okay, I'll do this, that, and that, and I'm gone. But like when you're with someone training hard, you just push it to another level. You need to train with someone. But yeah, he hasn't been able to train. So tonight, hopefully, he's free. Inshallah, I'm going to be free. So late night, I'm looking to do like a little session, just like a full body thing, just get a little pump on, man. Because yeah, I mean, ultimately, what it does for my mental health is what I need. If you don't train, I don't feel 100%. That's what Josh said to me, your business partner, when I spoke to him a few months back, and I said to him, I said to him, Josh, like you're in like decent shape, and like you travel so much. So I was like, how do you do it? Like, do you just go to gyms in the countries that you're in? Or he said, wherever I get a chance, I'll train, basically. He said, I don't feel right if I don't train, like mentally. So it has a real effect on your mental health when you don't train. It brings you down. If I was speaking to D, it's like my good energy is just feeling low. It's because that feeling when you're even if you're doing cardio, when you go for a run afterwards and you've recovered after doing some cardio, that feeling is just like, I need to start cardio because I get really out of breath really quickly, even when going up the stairs. It's not good. I'm 24. Really? Yeah. One thing I do is cardio. I walk a lot, as you know. I'm a foot soldier, and I love walking everywhere. So that's one thing that I can generally do is cardio. Even like just a 20-minute walk, I can get that done first thing in the morning. But it's just being in the gym, man. It's very, very good it's good for your mind, your body, and your soul. I find that I can't really do home workouts either. I don't find them effective. Like if I'm at home, that's my like time. That's my home, not my gym. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's nice to.
It's hard for me
I
to,
think
like,
it's
press
nice to
ups
bang a
and,
little,
like-
bang a little pre-press ups, and I've
can't do
got
that.
dumbbells. It's nice to have just a little, just a kind of little temporary fix. You set yourself to try and do 50 press ups before you go to bed. It's quite nice
Wow, 50 press-ups.
in sets of 10.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's hard for me, man. To just like do home workout and stuff. And just like
I say that it's not like I do it regularly, but I do try and press ups. You can't. It's easy. If you're lying on the floor, just pick your arms up and you're in the position. You can't really. It's not too difficult, is it?
I had a meeting. Yes, I've been trying to since the retreat because I was eating what I could there. Like I was trying to be healthy.
What was the food like?
Like it was good, but I was having a lot of sugar because like you have 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, dinner. And so in between those, there's like a lot of breaks, like a lot of hours. And especially because if you think like what time you wake up, that's breakfast time. Like breakfast time was like Fajr time.
Who was doing the food?
They were like bringing in caterers and all this kind of stuff and
Well, curries and stuff or mixture.
mixture, man. Yeah. But so I would eat a lot in between my meals. Like I not eat a lot as in like large quantities, but I'd just snack on what I could. So I had a lot of sugar. So this week I've been trying to fix up my diet, and so far, alhamdulillah, I haven't been eating biscuits. I haven't had no like anything like excessive sugar. However, I had a meeting yesterday, and they took me to a coffee shop, and where they took us. Like it was just loads of pastries and stuff. I couldn't find anything like half healthy. So I could have done with a bit of lunch. So they were like, "Yeah, just get whatever you want." And I was like, "Oh man!" And I was looking for something else. I couldn't find anything, so I just got like a cinnamon roll. And I was like, "This is not good for me." And I had it, and I felt horrible. And then after that, I saw a spinach and feta roll. And even though it's still pastry and stuff, it would have been
Yeah,
better
it's a
than
little bit
cinnamon
different.
roll,
Yeah,
man.
that savoury touch would have been a
So
bit better.
I should have got that, but it is what it is. Is what it is, man. I really need to leak.
Do you?
Yeah.
I was just trying to see how much if I get some silence out of you because I know you find it awkward when we go silent. Just trying to test the water.
Chilling. No problem with silence here.
No, there's not. Do you want to go to the toilet?
Yeah.
Or do you want to sit in silence for a bit?
Nah, let's go to the toilet.
Fine.
Right, guys. We're back after a break. And we are back. We are back in the building.
We never left the building.
We are back in the room. We left the room.
You left them for a while.
It's Big Daddy Phase. It's Big Man Sam. He's 6'5". 6. I'm 5'7". With shoes. Why they laugh?
I wasn't laughing.
With shoes on. That's a relevant piece of information that needs to be known. We're about to jump into some current events. Early. We're going to hear some news of the world. Oh yeah. Let's bring it down with our brother Red One for some current events. What's that you said, Big Daddy Face? Did you say current events? Oh yeah, I said current events. Current events. Current events.
Red one.
Red One.
I preferred Abdul Hakim's last week. He's just like current events.
That was the best one yet.
What, his there?
No.
Abdul Hakim.
Both yours.
Just that one
now.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my
You
opinion.
really sound like a radio presenter.
No, I really don't. Abdul Hakim does though. His voice is proper like radio.
You've got a
voice.
really good face for radio, man.
Thanks, bro. Really appreciate that.
No, I do like, you remind me of like Sunrise Radio.
Sunrise.
Rise and shine.
Sunrise Radio, like, you know, the radio voice where you do. There's one like that he does when we're working in the office sometimes.
Who he does?
Yeah.
Does he? What does he
Yeah.
get up to when you're in the
Me?
office? What's he like in the office?
Faz was a character.
Yeah.
You know what? He keeps us pumped. I'm not gonna lie.
Does
That's
he?
not
Yeah.
true. In the office, I'm very, very moody.
Nah, I don't. Think
Be honest,
you
this
are. I think you think you're moodier than you are, but you're actually.
I'm happiest on freshly grounded.
Alhamdulillah, you're like, you know, you're a ball of.
Is he a hard
positivity.
worker?
He is. He's very focused. Yeah, I'll say
Yeah.
that. He's very focused. So when he needs to work and he needs to complete something on
Yeah, he
time,
just
he's
gets
very,
it
very,
done.
very focused. Yeah. So in that sense, yes, he's
Does he
more
crack
serious.
jokes?
Yeah, occasionally. That's what I mean.
Does he
Like,
crack nasiha?
I don't know what that is.
What have you got?
Advice. Islamic advice.
Islamic advice. Yeah. But yeah, let's jump into some of the news.
Let's not only jump in it, let's really throw ourselves into the news.
Strange way of putting it, but yeah, what's on the agenda there, Red?
Let's see. Let's start with Bollywood.
Oh, let's start with Bollywood.
Bollywood.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to. Okay.
Do you like Bollywood?
No, I don't.
I don't really like Bollywood either. To be honest.
You get paid more as a Bollywood actor than you do as a Hollywood actor. don't you?
Really?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, by a lot.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, there you
But
have
basically, what's up is basically that Salman Khan. I don't know whether you guys have heard of him.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
this is what.
Obviously.
Yo, this isn't an Asian podcast, Red. I think that. Go on. We'll indulge.
It was part of world news, so I thought.
Okay, fine.
chuck it in
Who
there.
is it? Sorry.
But yeah,
It's some famous. It's like the Brad Pitt of Hollywood.
What's his name?
Bollywood. Salman Khan.
Do you like him?
I don't like Bollywood. I don't like Bollywood. It's so sexualized.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It's music, sex.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
everything that's wrong with pop culture.
Yeah. Amplified.
Amplified.
Because the West is bad enough, and then I feel like Bollywood just does more than what's.
Really?
Yeah, basically there was a time when we were kids that Bollywood would be very shy of even like they would never even show a kiss. Like
Yeah.
it would be very sensitive because it's like in our culture it's like you don't show those things. Now, bro, man,
changed.
not that I've seen it, but I've heard things.
Yeah. But basically, Salman Khan's been
Arrested.
put into custody for to be jailed for 5 years because he killed a rare breed of antelope.
Really? Antelope was what I ate that time when I went to India. That's
Is
when
it?
when we couldn't think of the word antelope.
Oh,
What's veal? Is veal a type of
it's a type of beef, I think.
Oh, is it
No,
a
it's
type of beef?
type of deer.
It's a type
Veal.
of deer, right?
Veal.
Yeah.
Or is it so?
Deer.
But deer meat is called venison, right?
Oh, maybe I'm wrong actually.
I think it's
Venison
beef,
is deer
bro.
meat, right?
Is it?
Veal is beef, I think.
I thought veal was deer. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
that's what I
venison.
thought.
Maybe
Venison
I'm wrong.
is-
Maybe I'm wrong.
I could be wrong. I'm not a foodist.
You've got a computer in front of you. You could probably.
Do you have
Google
two
that.
computers in front of you?
Two. Do have two computers and a phone. You could probably find out the answers to that quicker than
Oh,
we
what
could.
veal? Yeah, I'll
Find,
do that.
what is veal?
What is veal?
What you think it's beef? Yeah?
Veal. Yeah, I think it's beef. The reason I think it's beef is because there's a restaurant that they do beef burgers and their menu it says like 100%
Yes.
pure veal.
It's the flesh of a young calf.
Nice.
A young calf like
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
young calf.
Oh yeah. So it's a baby beef.
A baby calf like myself.
What do you think of venison, Sam? It's quite.
It's very rich.
It is, isn't it? The last time
I've
I
had
had
it for
venison
years.
was about 5 years ago, and I still
A
remember
rich
it.
meat for a rich man.
Far from.
If you look at venison meat and then look at like lamb or beef meat,
I'm not rich.
No, rich in terms of life, bro. You got richness, man. We all have.
Sorry, red one.
that's all right.
So he killed a rare type of antelope.
antelope. Yeah, so he's probably gonna probably appeal it or something, but yeah, he could possibly face 5 years in jail because he killed a rare type of antelope.
Is it him who murdered someone and then got away with it?
Yeah, so he basically back in 2011, I think, he was also prosecuted for a hit and run. So he basically ran over a couple of people on the road, and he was prosecuted for that, but he got away with that as well.
What, and they died.
He's been, huh?
They-
Yeah, one of them died.
I think that if you got a bit of the old Wonga, you got
Like
a bit of
yourself.
power over there.
Yeah.
Money equals power.
Money equals power, cash equals king, and Faisal
Has some bling.
equals happy.
I love your new jeans.
Thanks, bro.
Obviously, people can't see, but Big Phase is in some new jeans. Stand up. Doesn't really do justice to that. I was just gonna hurt you. I was gonna pause it so we could people. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not tickling your feet. They're a bit looser than his normal, but not. They're by all means baggy. I
Are
think
they
they're very
stretch?
flattering.
Are they stretch?
They're
They do
stretchy.
stretch.
They're one size up for my normal size
Waist or the whole thing.
waist.
Why is that?
Because I tried on my normal size, which is 32, and it didn't fit me. I couldn't get
Really?
the button up. I think because of gym I put on weight.
What, they Versace?
There's Zara.
Oh, mashallah.
30 quid from Zara. My wife put me them yesterday.
Is this what you were trying on the other day when you mentioned that you were trying something on in Zara?
Yes.
Okay, mashallah.
Yeah, I was trying these jeans on. And
I think they're
couldn't
really
decide.
flattering. I think it's nice
I
to see
couldn't
you in
decide, so I
jeans.
didn't buy them.
It's strange, even though you're wearing blue jeans, I think the smartest I've seen you look for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
The blood's like rushing to my thigh at this point. So.
I'm actually doing creating a presentation currently, and it
Yeah.
reminded me of something that I once told you. about with what you wear and the effect it has on your mental attitude for work.
Yeah.
And I'm putting it together for a development thing that I'm doing. And they did a study on things that you choose to put on in the morning and the effort you go into getting yourself ready, what effect that will have on your workload that day.
Sure. And
it has a massive effect. And I've tried to tell you, and I think you would agree, that when you wear a shirt and stuff, like how it makes you feel.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's interesting the psychology behind it and I do think, not that I'm a smartly dressed person, but when on the occasion I wear a tracksuit, and I wore a full tracksuit, it was a highly blessed tracksuit, but it was half smart, but I wore it to work on Saturday, and everyone was just like rinsing me, saying, look like I was about to go to the gym, play football.
Really?
And I even felt it myself, and I was wearing not like trainers, like proper trainers.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like the boss.
I have now lost all feeling in my foot.
Yeah, I'm happy to do the rest of the current events like this.
No, I think let's put my feet down. Okay.
It's crazy though.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think you always dress smart, Red, mashallah.
Today I'm a bit
you're semi-cash.
Semi-cash, yeah. I'm
You
wearing
look smart,
trainers
bro.
today.
You always look smart. I like Red One style.
Yeah, I like that.
Allah Mubarak.
But yeah, it's nuts.
He always
Like,
wears his trousers above the ankle majority of the time so much.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of made a habit of that in the last 3 years or so.
It's alhamdulillah, a lot of our sunnahs are actually very stylish as well, so it's almost easier for the people to implement.
Yeah.
Although obviously we don't wear it with the intention for a style, we wear it for the sunnah, but trousers above the ankle, beards, all these things, we see this in mainstream fashion now, don't we? Yeah. So you can get away with it. I love seeing brothers like obviously who are not doing it for style. I see older brothers who have got their suit trousers like pinned up above their ankles. May Allah reward them because it doesn't. But when you don't do it for style, you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
But may Allah reward them
because it doesn't look stylish.
Yeah. But so we know the hadith. I won't go into it because I don't know off by heart. But the person whose garment is lower than the ankle, it's a serious thing. So it's definitely something people would implement. Wear your trousers above your ankle.
Plus, it's nice. Sometimes in the summer, like
it looks great. It feels great as well. It's more comfortable.
Air.
Grow your beards, brothers, as well.
Yeah.
Grow your beards. It's very important.
I'm trying that, but it's
the one sunnah you can be buried with.
Yeah.
You'll be raised in the day of judgment with a sunnah. Can't be a bad
Plus, it's quite a nice symbol because it's a symbol of patience and a symbol of like.
I think it's a symbol of being a man, bruv.
Be a man, exactly. Yeah. Look.
If you can't grow a beard, try something like this.
Yo, we didn't even talk about the Punish Muslim Day thing. That's
what I was literally going to bring up just now.
Fine.
Thank you for ruining that piece of.
Avoid that.
No, we shouldn't avoid it, bro. We're Freshly Grounded podcast.
I've got no comment on that.
No, I have.
Go on then.
Fine.
So obviously, 3rd of April came.
Oh, you're going to discuss it right now?
Huh?
Yeah, it's fine. You can discuss it
I think he was about to go for it anyway.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
If you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay,
let him talk then.
Fine.
Sabr.
So 3rd of April obviously was a big one recently. Well, to be honest, it wasn't really a big one because alhamdulillah, nothing happened, no major incidents, nothing happened.
That we know of.
But obviously in late March, there was quite a few hate-incited letters that were posted in 20 families' letterboxes and including 4 other MPs as well who are Muslim. And it was basically a letter with the structure of, it was basically a game. You know, you get points for like events that you carry out to basically incite hate against Muslims. So, you know, torturing Muslims and, you know, egging mosques and things like that. So you get different, it was a point system. It was disgusting. So yeah, it created a bit of paranoia for the 3rd of April, and I had like my family even telling me like, you know, to be careful while going about. But to be honest,
there were lots of warnings going around.
Yeah. But alhamdulillah, you know what? People went about their day and didn't really give importance to it, and nothing happened. And there was quite on the news. What's big right now is that to counter it, there was like a big campaign on Twitter about, you know, Love a Muslim Day, and where like there was a sheet created with a point-based system of doing nice things to a Muslim, you know, smiling at a Muslim and so on. Well, yeah, that was a big thing in the past week. Well, it was on Tuesday, was it right? Tuesday was the 3rd? Yeah, so it was a Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, so
what's your thoughts on it?
My thoughts on it is that so I originally was not going to make a video about Punish Muslim Day. Yeah. The reason I was not going to make a video on it is because I did not want to, for no reason, make a video about it when I had nothing to add. Yeah. So, for example, I didn't want to react to it because loads of people reacted to it just for the sake of content. And then I thought, I don't have any advice because I've watched other people give advice on the video, and their advice seems sufficient So I don't have anything new to add there. Like they were saying stuff like, just be vigilant. Obviously, they were saying that the points that made sense. Like only fear Allah. Know that nothing's gonna harm you except with Allah's will, and like all this kind of stuff. But maybe be a bit more vigilant, obviously, because there'll be some idiots out to hurt people. But generally, like don't be scared, innit? Yeah. So that was about. So I thought there's no need for me to make a video, right? Until on the day I had received a WhatsApp message which I thought was extremely beneficial. So I made a video and I read this WhatsApp message out on the video. It was a WhatsApp message by a sister, and it was constructed beautifully. She was explaining that that a lot of these videos are actually scaremongering, and there's nothing to be worried about. You shouldn't be scared. However, these are steps that I am taking to be vigilant. And so what it was a message where she was announcing practical steps that she was taking, 10 practical steps she was taking during the day. Like, for example, she was like, I'm not gonna listen to anything in my headphones today. And I thought that's a good point. Like, so like she's just a bit more vigilant. She said, I've got an umbrella with me because there's studies that show that when a person has something that they could use as a weapon on their person, they're less likely to be attacked. Stuff like, for example, all of this kind of stuff, yeah. So I thought that was a very, very good message because it was practical steps from my sister. So I put that video out and explained it. However, there were some brothers who put up videos online which I thought were very, very true and very, very beneficial. And what they were saying is, for example, Imran Dawman put up a video, and what he was saying, I think, made a lot of sense. He said that basically these videos, this like announcement of Punish Muslim Days, basically is very scaremongering, yeah, and it's like scaring. There were things in that video that I agreed and disagreed with, to be fair, but the main point, which was this, yeah, that the videos is that this day is like created to scare people for no reason, or to create a day where like the whole of the UK is like, oh look, we're supporting Muslims, we're against this Punish Muslim Day, so it looks like that everyone supports Muslims, but really and truly every day is Punish Muslim Day, like in the sense that every day Muslims are getting, you see things not just on the 3rd of April, but you see Muslim girls getting pushed into train tracks, you see Muslims getting acid thrown in their faces, and this happens all year round, not just on the 3rd of April. So it's not like there was anything as much specific about today because it was like that day, because it was Punish Muslim Day. People are always trying to harm Muslims, in it. So we should always be vigilant. I think that point made sense. I didn't want to add to the scaremongering basically because I think there was a lot of it was just to incite fear to Muslims. And that's what I'll say. What you got next, Red?
Yeah, so the next piece was basically about Stranger Things, which is obviously quite a critically acclaimed series that was released on Netflix back in 2016, I think. And basically the creators of it, the Duffer Brothers, are being sued because there was basically a dude who came to them with an idea from his award-winning film, and he pitched it to them,
and they took it and did Stranger Things.
Yeah, and they basically, to be honest, their lawyer is saying that his case is basically meritless, but he's still suing them, and apparently the original film was called The Montauk Project, and so yeah, they're being sued, like heavily, like big time.
But you're saying is it going to go through or not?
Well, that depends on it's all on trial at the moment, so I don't know whether it will succeed or not, but yeah, so it does seem quite, because it's not a massively abstract like theory or story that hasn't been touched upon before.
The basis of the story I've seen in and I've heard of in so many different forms of TV programs, films, etc.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, it's about these boys that discover another dimension, and within this dimension, there's basically monsters, etc.
Yeah. Now,
the reason that I think Stranger Things is so captivating for me, when I've watched it before, it very much reminds me of my how I came into Islam through my spiritual experiences about meeting shayateen, however crazy that sounds, yeah, meeting jinn and meeting things that exist among us that most people don't ever see. And Allah, from the qadr of Allah, I saw some crazy stuff. And I can relate to this Stranger Things because these boys, basically, it's a world, and then there's another world that exists in that world, and there's monsters that live in this world, and you can actually enter this dimension, and the whole thing's based upon one evil, massive devil basically, and if you look at it, it looks like a massive
Yeah, it does.
shayateen.
Yeah.
And it's
Spoiler alert, by
and
the
you
way.
see that in all over the media, and the people that put these things out.
Yeah.
It's not just a fantasy world. It's a world that we know from the Quran and Sunnah that there is jinn. That the jinn means unseen, and these unseen things that are around us the whole time. We're born with one. They live in our toilet. They live in somewhere dirty. It's no news that people call them ghosts and this, that, and the other, but they're real things. And the reason Stranger Things is I find it so interesting because it is basically based on real life, that there are these monsters, and there is a main big monster, and they have a plan, and they take the children, this, that, and the other. Take some time out to study what spirits are and what jinn is, and really look into it, because it's a very, very real thing, and I've seen it and I've met it. It's crazy. And so every time, like in a salon, say someone brings up Stranger Things, and I'll drop a bar like, that's actually based on true events, which it is. Wallahi, it's based on true events in the sense that there are unseen things that live amongst us that we don't see. Trust me, there is. I'm not suggesting for anyone, but you see, you search Ouija board on YouTube, you see people who call upon like something there. Something will answer you. There are, it's fact. 100%. There's things that live with us, live amongst us that we can't see, but they are definitely there.
Wow, that's an interesting take on it.
It's true stories in the sense that there's other dimensions, there's monsters, but.
There is a very eerie kind of feel about it. Makes you feel a certain way, especially if like you're obviously practicing and you're watching it. Like it really does make you feel a certain way when you watch it.
Yeah, and they possess the main young kid is possessed by the main one, isn't it?
Really? Yeah.
Possessed by the main one. So it's based upon possession, and the actual main one is actually in the ute, and you see him like.
Yeah. For anyone that wants to watch it, like apologies for the spoilers, but it's basically it's like Sam said, like the big one who kind of is in control of whatever happens. Basically in the first series, a kid goes missing, and that same kid basically returns, and in the second season he's pretty much possessed
by the main
shaitan. Yeah.
I don't advise anyone to waste their time watching it anyway, man. Better things you can do that time in it phase, such as.
The dhikr of Allah.
MashaAllah, yeah. What else?
Reading Quran, which comes under dhikr, I suppose, of Allah. Building your business so you can support yourself and your family. Saving your money so that you can go to Umrah or Hajj.
Yeah, that's good. Watching Trevor McDonald documentaries.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's spaced. Yeah.
What's
next?
I've got next piece of news. It might be a bit related to Trevor McDonald's death row. So basically, a man was granted a pardon after 140 years.
He's got what?
After being hanged. A pardon. So he was hanged basically. So this was in 1882, December 1882. An Irish man called Miles Joyce. Huh?
So I just.
Sorry, Red. He's interrupting you. It's quite rude.
Okay, don't worry. So my Irish man called Miles Joyce.
Miles Joyce.
Yeah, he was convicted of murder, even though his accomplices actually said that he was an innocent man. He was hanged in December 1882. But 140 years after this case, he was given a pardon, so that obviously history is rewritten. And he was actually innocent, because the 5 people that were murdered were actually his family members, and he was related to them. So it's a bit nuts that
sounds like an injustice. It
is an injustice, but 140 years after, can you
they've cleared his name now, but he still got hung.
Yeah.
That's a bit.
Yeah, but at least he died an innocent man.
That is peak.
Yeah. But yeah, that brings my little segment to an end.
Thank you for your little segment, Red. I always enjoy it.
I always enjoy you and Faisal and our talks.
Oh, sorry. Me and Red can't have a nice conversation about you getting weird.
Listen, man, it's just some appreciation for each other, isn't it?
That's the end of current events. Current events.
Red one.
Leave
that bit to me.
Okay. Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So remember I was telling you a few weeks ago that I had missed my appointment.
Yes.
And then I said that
Asthma appointment.
my asthma appointment, and then I was like, I felt really bad because I've like let the practice nurse down.
Yep.
Because I feel bad for her. Like she's probably just waiting for me to turn up, and I didn't turn up. Well, I haven't had the courage to still haven't had the courage to call up and like be like, oh, sorry, by the way, for missing my appointment. But now it's got to the point where I need to ring her because I need to double check that I've got all my injections for Gambia. Which I'm sure I do, but I need to ring her, and so I'm gonna have to have that conversation. I'm gonna be like, by the way,
I don't think she'll take it personally, man. I'm sure that happens to her quite a lot. I definitely think you should start with an apology, but maybe even she might not even remember.
Yeah, she probably won't. She has so many customers, probably. So clients. So what are they called? Patients.
Patients.
But yeah, I need to ring her. I need to double check. Have you got your immunisations for the Gambia?
I haven't even thought about it. I was blessed last time, so inshallah I'll be fine.
Mate, that cool, Sam. You got a family to come back to, inshallah. It's worth
true.
it. Because my brother-in-law went somewhere recently, and he's like just like a proper lad. Like, he's, oh yeah, just never got around to doing it, and then he went away somewhere, and he became really ill there. And my sister was a bit like upset, like, oh no, he ended up he did get his injection because she ended up booking it for him. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have booked it. But he forgot to take malaria tablets with him. But regardless,
we need to get malaria tablets.
Yeah, but regardless,
you got some?
No, but
you got
I'll
a link
get
for
some.
it.
Yeah, chemist.
Yeah, but I know you can spend a fortune on it. I know you can get them cheap.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I just got from the chemist last time. I'll just get them again. They weren't that expensive.
Nah, there's different. That's where there's levels to the malaria tablets.
Maybe they're not the cheapest things in the world.
Yeah, no, I remember getting hooked up once because they are quite expensive. I thought they were quite expensive.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
I'm a bit tight, so
We're good to be tight.
it's good to be tight.
It's how the rich stay rich.
Yes.
It's not actually good to be tight as much though, is it? But it's good to be tight.
It's good to be aware of your money. It's definitely
Yeah.
good to be generous with your money when it comes to charity and helping
Yes.
your brothers out. And one of the nicest things you can do, I've read this hadith, yeah? I don't know if I should say this. About one of the best things you can do for your brother is to relieve him of debt.
Yeah, bro. Say that. What do you mean? Say it. Say it loud and proud, bro.
Yeah,
say
well, one of the best things you can do. One of the best things you can do for your brother is to relieve him of debt.
Beautiful, bro. And it is one of the best
Which
things
comes
to do.
to the next question. I got a little debt
Yeah.
I need you to take care of.
I don't know if asking. Well, inshallah.
We'll talk off air, inshallah.
Likewise. So maybe we can swap. I'm sure mine might be more than yours. So maybe let's calculate and then see.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, it's huge. What was it about? I was talking about the immunisations. Yeah. So then my sister was like a bit upset because he didn't take his malaria tablets with him, and it's like in the grand scheme of things, going to a chemist, grabbing little malaria tablets, even though it might take 10 minutes at a time, when you got like a wife and kids in it, it's important. So
true. So true.
Yeah. So is that a little phone call to Elaine, my practice nurse? Hey Elaine, can I check if my immunisations are there? I'm going to do that today, inshallah. Yeah, and you should do that too. And look, if I knew your practice nurse, I'd probably give him or her a call for you. But
if I find out the contact, would you make the call for me?
I could just say, hi, I'm calling on behalf of my brother Sam. All true. Just want to check if he's got any immunisations for Gambia. But she might turn around and say, what's your name? Faisal Chowdhury. Sorry, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. Maybe I'll do it myself.
Maybe you do it yourself, bro. Or you could ask your missus to do it for you.
It's true.
Yeah.
She usually books my doctor's appointments.
There you go.
I'll get her to call.
Yeah, man. Got wife and kids, bro. You know what I mean? We'll get that checked.
Tie the camel.
Try that camel.
That good and proper.
Who else is coming Gambia with us? Do you know? I think Muslim Bilal and Abu Bakr.
Muslim Bilal.
And
That's it. That's
Abu
all I
Bakr.
know. And
That's
Abu
it.
Bakr.
Just
I
us
don't know.
4-man squad.
There must be more. I reckon there's more to it than that.
I don't think so.
Really?
And you may not stay in that same hotel as last time either.
Where are we staying?
Don't know, but
Has it been?
hold on a second.
It hasn't even been sorted. We probably have to sort it out, don't we?
Oh yeah. We should speak to Abu Bakr. I'm a bit scared of him, but
I'm wondering. I'm surprised why you haven't asked me about accommodation.
Yeah, I just thought, no, because I remember him telling me like time back, like he was like, oh, we're not going to stay at that hotel again.
It wasn't a
I think
hotel.
It was
It was apartments.
Yeah, but
It wasn't that pricey, was it?
No, but I think compared to what you can get, it was cheap compared to England, yeah, but compared to Gambia, I think it's quite expensive. And so he said, I think he said he was staying somewhere else. Although I would like to stay there again.
I would like to stay in the place across the road.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I want my intentions to be quite pure. I don't want to have too much niceness. Remember?
Yeah, when we went for breakfast one time. Or you mean the one?
I actually meant the one directly across the road. Did you go into there?
I never went into there. Was it different? really.
We'll chat off air, inshallah. I
Yeah.
can't wait to go to Gambia, man.
Yeah, I know. We are our attention so we don't speak like this kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. No. It's ultimately when you go out to a foreign land, wherever you go, it's definitely not a bad thing to lay your head somewhere clean, nice, fresh towels. But at the same time, if I get given a dirty bed, if I get given a dirty bed and no fresh towels, alhamdulillah. But I tell you what, it would be nice to stay somewhere where you can get good rest, so then we can give back to the kids all our energy, opposed to 60% of our energy. You know?
I know.
Because that bar, I'm not going to complain. The bathroom that I had in the other, you had a slightly different setup. Remember, you had a 2-story little thing there.
Yeah, I had my own flat.
That's when I first met you.
Yeah. Did you have your own flat?
I had that.
Yeah.
Other place. Me and Josh shared the thing there. It was nice though.
Yeah. And the sheikh came and
showered at 4 a.m. Yeah, mashallah. Rated that. Boom. I think, rah. It's early. Banging away, singing in the shower. No, he didn't sing in the shower, but yeah, shower and that. You didn't have any hot water, did you?
No, I don't think I had hot water at times. But did you used to spray your bed with...
sprayed everywhere in that building with that stuff.
I sprayed my bed with that mosquito spray before I went into it.
Same.
Are you going to get a phone SIM again when you go there?
Yeah, imagine
same.
so.
I think I might even have my old one.
I thought I had my old one. I stuck it to my old passport, which is gone. That's a lie. Actually, that took us ages to sort that out when we got there, didn't it?
Yeah, it was light work, bro. It was just a quick thing there.
I
But
remember Abu Bakr getting
I
hurrying the group
remember
up.
when we first landed in the airport, like people were talking to me, and I didn't want to be rude, so I was like talking back, and then Abu Bakr was like, "What are you doing, Faisal? Like, don't like," and he like kept me by him.
Yeah, there's a couple people in the hustle, I think, in the sense of trying to charge you for holding the bag and this, that, and the other.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Not anything else more serious?
Nah, not that I know of. Nah.
Guys, this has been episode 52 of Freshly Grounded. It's been nice to have a catch up with my friend Sam, my brother Sam. Has it been nice to have a catch up with me, or?
It's been okay.
Yeah, all right, I'll deal with that.
Red, great to see you, my brother. Thank you for your producing skills, as always.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. My pleasure.
Good.
Thank you, Red. And guys, we'll be back next week, inshallah. Unfortunately, inshallah, we'll be back next week, and unfortunately, Sam won't be here. But I'll be here either with another guest, or could be by myself. Don't cry too much, guys. I'll try and bring someone else on. And with that being said, pretty much he has been Big Man Sam. I've been Just a Phase. He's been Code Red. We out of here.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.